We're going to go live to that news conference. The NTSB is giving an update on the Amtrak train derailment. Let's listen in.
My name is Robert Sumwalt, and I'm a board member with the National Transportation Safety Board. The NTSB, as many of you know, is an independent federal agency. We're charged by Congress to investigate transportation accidents, to determine the probable cause, and then issue safety recommendations to try and keep these accidents from happening again. Before I go any further, I would like to offer our sincere condolences for the loss of lives and the injuries that people have sustained, and our thoughts and prayers are truly with them. NTSB investigators began arriving here in Philadelphia between 4 and 5 this morning, and the majority of the GO team was in place here in Philadelphia by about 9:30 this morning. Upon arrival here on the scene, we coordinated with the local officials, the first responders, and then we conducted a pretty thorough walkthrough of the accident site to be able to get an idea of what we're dealing with, sort of the lay of the land. At noon, we held an organizational meeting where we established our investigative protocols and parties to the investigation. The investigator in charge is Mike Flanagan. Mike has over 40 years of railroad experience, and he has more than 15 years of accident investigation experience with the NTSB. He is leading a multidisciplinary team of accident investigators that will be looking into the track, the signals, and I'm talking about the train control signal system, the operations of the train, the mechanical condition of the train, to include the brake system, the recorders, survival factors, and emergency response. In addition to our investigative team, we have experts from the NTSB's Office of Transportation Disaster Assistance. They are here to help facilitate the needs of the victims and their families. Here's the factual information that we presently have. Last evening, Amtrak 188, an Amtrak Northeast regional train, departed Philadelphia's 30th Street station at 9:10 p.m., bound for New York City's Penn Station. The train consisted of 1 locomotive and 7 passenger cars, and according to Amtrak, there were 238 passengers and a crew of 5, for a total of 243 occupants of the train. At approximately 9:21 p.m., while traveling through a left-hand turn, the entire train derailed. Just moments before the derailment, the train was placed into engineer-induced braking, and this means that the engineer applied a full emergency brake application. Maximum authorized speed through this curve was 50 miles per hour. When the engineer-induced brake application was applied, the train was traveling at approximately 106 miles per hour. 3 seconds later, when the data to the recorders terminated, the train speed was 102 miles per hour. I will indicate that these are preliminary figures of speed, subject to further validation, but we're pretty close on that. That's our first look at it. It's a pretty complex thing. You don't just press a button and it spits out a speed. We have to measure the wheel speed and then put that into a formula, but we're pretty confident that the train was traveling pretty close to those speeds, within 1 or 2 miles per hour. The train had recorders it had forward-facing video cameras, and it had an event data recorder. Both of these recorders are being sent to our laboratory for analysis in Washington, D.C. We did get these initial speeds that we just provided you with from an initial download of the event recorder. We've released the track back to Amtrak, and they will begin rebuilding it very soon. The locomotive and all but two of the train passenger cars are currently being moved to a secure location where detailed examination and documentation can occur. Throughout the next few days, the investigators will work on scene to thoroughly document the accident site and gather factual information. We will be doing a more detailed documentation of the rail cars and the scene. We plan to interview the train crew and other personnel. We would like to interview passengers of the train. We will be conducting a site distance test. We'll be testing the signal system, the train control signals. We'll be testing the braking system, and a detailed analysis instead of the cursory analysis that I mentioned earlier of the recorders. We'll be doing a very detailed download and analysis of those recorders. Our mission is to find out not only what happened, but why it happened, so that we can prevent it from happening again. That's really what we're here for, is learn from these things so that we can keep them from happening again. I suspect that our investigators will be here in Philadelphia on scene for about a week. I want to emphasize that we're not here on scene to determine the cause of the accident while we're on scene. We're not going to speculate. Our purpose for being here, I like to describe it as that we are here to collect perishable evidence, which is that information that will go away with the passage of time. That's really what we're here to do, is collect that information that will go away with the passage of time. We can go back and do the analysis later, but we have to capture those data very carefully now. I feel like for just arriving on scene this morning, I feel like the preliminary information that we have is robust, but we still have a lot to get. I know that you have a lot of questions. We have a lot of questions, and our commitment to you is that as we are discovering factual information, we will be releasing it. I would be looking for a press conference about this time tomorrow to tell you what we've learned tomorrow. And that's the way it works. Our investigators are out in the field doing their jobs during the day, and they report back to me so I can report to you. I would encourage you to follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @NTSB. As I wrap it up, I'd like to thank the first responders for all of their efforts. They've been out here through the night, through the early morning, and all day trying to secure this area. We want to thank them for their hard efforts.